GM everyone, welcome back to another greenish stream. Obviously, if you're new here, guys, please like and subscribe the video. If you're watching here live on X, obviously, please drop me a follow as well so you can stay up to date with my daily crypto content. So good to be back. It's been probably a couple of weeks. Flown from Iceland to from Norway to Iceland to Scotland to back into England now. So it's amazing. It's so good to travel. But obviously, trying to get this content out to you as regularly as possible. So thanks for tuning in. GM to you, too easy as well. Thanks for being here, mate. And guys, please let me know in the comment section anything you'd like me to cover today. More than happy to dive into some tokens, some altcoins. Obviously, RUNES are live now. We've seen Ordinals really come back. I just checked them out, and I'm really curious at current price action on Ordinals right now because they are, I think, maybe at a discount. So we'll look at that very shortly. We'll check out ETH NFTs because they've also seen a little bit of a resurgence. A lot of people talking about whether Mad Lads is a really good buy at the moment, so we'll discuss that as well. And obviously, guys, we'll do some live trading of some meme coins as well because you all love when I do that. And meme coins, you just got to be patient at the moment, guys, because so many of the meme coins are just taking a little bit of time because the market is very much in a consolidation phase. And I will show you this very shortly. And we are just pretty much doing what we did last time the halvening occurred 4 years ago. And that's just consolidating until we do move up in the coming sort of months towards the end of this year. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Love to see a few of you in here. But yeah, please drop me any comments in the chat, and I'll be sure to discuss those topics. So first thing I want to talk about today, guys, is obviously price history of Bitcoin. Okay, so obviously the halvening, very significant. Essentially, it just means that the supply that miners can essentially mine has been halved. And over the next 100 years, Bitcoin will continue to do this until it reaches its maximum supply. So that's pretty cool. And it'll supersede our sort of lifetime. GM to you, Big Dave. Thanks for tuning in as well, mate. And at the end of the day, guys, like we're still so early in Bitcoin. Okay, this is only its like fourth halving, so we have so much time ahead of us in terms of sort of where this asset could really be in the future. It's obviously been compared to gold. We've seen Nvidia, okay, outpace Bitcoin over the past sort of 5 to 6 years, which is pretty crazy. But in my thinking, okay, you essentially like you can't like Bitcoin is a savings account in my opinion, okay, and that's why I think it's particularly our generation. So anyone who's probably still got a lot of time on their side in terms of work, where else would you like to store your wealth outside of maybe Bitcoin, right? So if you do take a look at price history here, guys, it does show you quite some crazy returns, obviously early. And obviously, as price increases, market cap increases, it means that you are seeing diminished returns. And that's why people love to go into altcoins. But as I just said before, Bitcoin is that safe haven asset. It's that savings account. It's that asset that just won't go away. It has digital decentralization. Okay, you're seeing companies adopt it. You're seeing banks have exposure to it. You've seen Tesla hasn't even sold any of their Bitcoin. Okay, all these sorts of things. So why not have exposure to the biggest, largest asset, in my opinion, for the next sort of probably 25, 50 years, if not 100 years. So have a look here, guys. As you can see, we often see positive, 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 and then you do see your year of bear market. Okay, so that's often what happens, okay? And as we lead up to the halving, usually that year is a positive, okay? And then the year following the halving is very, very delicious for all of us traders. So you can see here, this is a little bit outdated, and I have marked it on my chart very shortly to show you. But we did see 16K at the start of 2023. It did go down, obviously, to about 15.8, 15.5, okay, for the bear market low. And obviously, we closed this year. Let's have a look. What did we close this year at? Start this year at about 45K. Yeah, 40 to 45K. So as you can see, we're already up nearly 50% in this year, or over 50% really. So it's definitely showing you that the good times are ahead. Okay, so if we do take a quick look at the charts, as you can see here, guys, I have marked out previous halvings. So they are marked by these orange lines, the week of the previous halvings. So in 2016 to 2020. That was 2 cycles ago now. That's when I joined, was in 2016. So I remember having no idea what this technology was. It was all very speculative. We saw all the ICOs coming out. And honestly, this space has come such a long way since 2016. So it's great to see. But we did see a profit of 28x on Bitcoin. So that was all the way down from about sort of 3 to 500 range, all the way up to just shy of 20K in that series of time. So as you can see here, we've seen, and this is post-halving to the peak of the cycle, guys. So this isn't from bear market lows to the top of the cycle. This is from halving to the top of the cycle, okay? So it's just a slightly different analysis. Obviously, last cycle we saw consolidation again. This is why I wanted to highlight to you, because at the end of the day, we're seeing here the same sort of price action that we saw previous halving, okay? And that's consolidation, loading up opportunities for the next couple months ahead, because they're going to be very, very nice. But as you can see here, we saw sort of price action really respect that 10 to 12K sort of level. We did obviously have that high around that 14K level last time, so that was essentially where we were. Obviously, we had the COVID dip too, so perhaps that maybe delayed the bull market in terms of last cycle as well. But as you can see here, we did see returns of a 6.8-ish, so about a 7x returns from the halving all the way to the top of this cycle. Now, the significant difference this time around, guys, is that we obviously have set a new all-time high before the halving, okay? And that is never been seen before. And that's why I'm leaning very much in the court of seeing this cycle maybe top out at the end of this year or at the very start of 2025. And so if you do take a look at previous cycles, okay, so the length of previous cycle from the halving, so from here to top of cycle, it's 525 days, okay? Whereas from last cycle, it was from the halving to the top of the cycle, it was about 540 days. So respectively, it was around 535 days on average from the halving to the peak of the cycle. So if I was, in theory, to suggest that that's where we might see price action go, that would put us let's just pull it on the screen. So that would put us at around sort of beginning of October next year. Now, for me, I just don't see crypto going for another year and nearly a year and a half from here, okay, from the price action that we see. Now, obviously, there's certain factors like the ETF demand, institutions buying in, retail coming in and realizing, you know what, Bitcoin's actually worth something now. We're seeing all these companies like Tesla and BlackRock and all these huge institutions have exposure to it, treat it like a savings bank account. Maybe it can be prolonged, okay? But my thinking is maybe it's not prolonged, but perhaps Bitcoin just doesn't come down to the levels that we've previously seen it, okay? So as you can see here, just to show you what I mean, Bitcoin obviously came down quite a lot. So 84% in 2 cycles ago, and obviously more recently it's come down around like 70 something percent. Yeah, so 78%. So perhaps due to this now sort of new meta around ETFs approval and all that type of stuff, guys, perhaps maybe the cycle may be shorter, but also maybe Bitcoin doesn't come down as far. And maybe Bitcoin only ever comes down to sort of this range again, okay? Maybe we don't ever see Bitcoin go below 60K again after this bull market. And that's no surprise, okay? So that's why I'm very much in the ball camp of probably being more aggressive with taking profit and being happy with that, because at the end of the day, you're never going to time the top, guys. You're never going to time the bottom. But what you can do with the information is really make strategic choices around when you think maybe it is good to take some profit off the table. And I do have a video coming in the next sort of hour, dropping on my YouTube around why I think I'll be scaling out a profit at about 100K Bitcoin, but why I'm long from current price action. But as you can see here, guys, we've seen obviously diminishing returns. So that's about a 4x return less than what we saw the previous cycle before. So in theory, you would expect this cycle to see a 2 to 3x from the current price of Bitcoin at its halving. So let's just, in theory, plot out maybe perhaps where we think this could potentially go. So if we look at the price action as of the halving, we're sitting at about 67K. So a 2x, I have to make my chart a bit bigger. So if we have a look, so 2x, a 2x return would see us, which is probably on the lesser side of diminishing returns, but a 2x from here would see us at $132,000. A 3x would push us up towards that 190 sort of thousand. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go even higher, guys. So as you can see, so a 3x, sorry, would push us all the way up to around 199,000. So potentially, guys, okay, that you just got to remember, okay, as it's all good and well maybe doing some price predictions, and this is a very modest price prediction. That's a 3x from price action today on Bitcoin alone. But market cap is a lot, right? So as market cap gets bigger, you have to have so much extra money really coming in to really push this up to those sort of numbers, right? So for me, I think I start scaling out of Bitcoin at least 100K. I do think maybe it's a great sort of, it's maybe the one token that I would look to hold through this whole cycle and keep accumulating as we go through the next bear cycle. As I spoke on the top of the show, because of its price history, because of its banking savings account sort of play and its decentralization and its adoption worldwide. Okay, so I just don't see why you would maybe want to maybe not hold a little bit of Bitcoin moving into the future, obviously, if you don't need the funds for day-to-day life. And that's the other thing that we don't speak about enough, guys, is at the end of the day, people always go, "Oh, Greeny, like, when are you going to take profits? Like, what's your play? Like, when are you going to exit?" And it's all about actually what suits you in life. Okay, so for me, right, I got into Sana at under $20, guys. I was DCAing hard. It's already up like an 8x from there. We saw over a 10x on Solana already. So for me, scaling our profits at an all-time high makes a lot of sense because that's like a 15x. Whereas someone else who maybe only got in the cycle recently would only be up 50%, if that, right? So it all depends on maybe where your entry was, but also if you need that money in real life. Okay, so if you're someone that has lots more liquidity in property or in savings or in other forms, so stocks, for example, then perhaps you don't need to sell a lot of your Bitcoin and you can just convert it back to stables or you can convert it back to Bitcoin and just hodl that for the next sort of 4 to 5 years, right? If not 10. However, for someone like me who maybe does want to explore other revenues of sort of maybe income, right? So property or maybe some stocks exposure, etc., then perhaps taking it all out, resetting my whole financial sort of situation, and then looking to get back into Bitcoin and crypto, obviously, next cycle is probably the play that I'm going to go for. So I've obviously round tripped 2 previous cycles, guys. So I definitely want to make sure that I have a proper system. This is 8 years in the running, okay, for me to take some real nice profit this time and be a happy man at the end of this cycle. So just going back to the chat, thanks for tuning in, everyone. GM. Thanks for being here. Obviously, please let me know down below if you have any questions or if you want me to touch on any particular altcoins, meme coins, or topics. There's a lot to cover in today's show, but I just thought I'd start with that analysis of I do think, at least for me, I'm scaling out of Bitcoin at about 100K because I just have had early exposure. But I do think maybe somewhere between that 100 and sort of 30 to 180K sort of region is very on the tables for me. If not, I think 200K is probably the max. I just don't see it going higher than that from price action. That would be a 3x, which would put us at around nearly close to 50% of historical returns from last cycle, whereas here, as you can see, was 4x lower. So if we just do some quick math, guys, 6.8 divided by 4x is only a 1.7 sort of return. So if we do see that, it's not even a 2x. So essentially, that's only 70% from here. So in theory, right, we could only see Bitcoin go to about $115,000. Okay, that's based on the diminishing returns of the previous 2 cycles. But this cycle is obviously different. We have adoption worldwide. We're seeing banks, we're seeing companies adopt it. We're seeing governments actually have it in El Salvador, Argentina, etc. Have Bitcoin on their books. So again, it could push higher because of these narratives that we're seeing. So that's what I always like to look at. I won't let you see so much what I'm about to drop in that Bitcoin video in about an hour's time. But I do talk about the social trends as well, and that's always something to keep in mind around when you should be scaling out a profit as well. And so the fear and greed index is often a great indicator as well because it gives you sort of that social understanding about where we are in the market. Okay, and it's honestly the simplest rule in crypto is buy fear in a bull market. Okay, in a bull market, but buy fear, sell greed. Okay, so whenever you're seeing so many people euphoric, that's often a good time to scale out a little bit of your profit. Okay, because nothing can go up forever and ever and ever. So what I'm referring to is obviously on coin market cap, come to the fear and greed index, as you can see here on the screen, guys, 64. It's a great reset. We were literally up here in the 90 sort of region, and I'll show you that very shortly. So as you can see here, if we scroll down, so as you can see here, guys, we were 90. Yeah, we touched 91. Okay, that's so crazy. This is pre-halving as well. That's usually a top signal at the heights of a bull market, right at the end of the cycle. But we obviously reached that. We came all the way down, touch neutral. Very nice reset. So not only did price obviously dump, not even 20% for Bitcoin. Altcoins did suffer a bit more, up to 40, 50%. But Bitcoin only came down about 20%. And we did see the social metric reset. And that's often a great sign for you then to maybe enter some leverage longs and look to take this up for that next leg towards that 100K sort of region. So always keep an eye on the crypto fear and greed index. And obviously Google Trends is also a good one on Bitcoin and on cryptocurrency as well. All right, let's go back to the charts, guys. I want to talk about some of the top altcoins. I want to talk about some analysis about whether you want to be holding Bitcoin or whether you want to be holding ETH or Solana, okay? Because these are the ones that have obviously been questioned at the moment. We still have not much information about whether the ETF is going to be approved for Ethereum. As you can see here, the chart is very sloppy. Okay, we've seen huge weeks down below, but that shows me there's a lot of buying pressure. But again, this is showing me continuation of a trend. Okay, so higher lows over a long period of time. This is on a weekly chart, and so ETH I do think could push towards its all-time high in the coming months. Okay, and obviously the one that you want to be keeping an eye on is the ETH versus BTC chart. So I would expect maybe a bounce from ETH here relative to Bitcoin because of its lower market cap and because it might get this ETF approval. However, what I have seen this morning actually is People are pushing for a Solana ETF approval. Now that would be just crazy. That could seriously push Solana up towards $1,000. I don't think Solana gets to $1,000. That's a significant jump in market cap. Obviously, it is an inflationary token, so in other words, it is actually increasing as well. So its market cap to reach Ethereum will always be quite hard, in my opinion, to get there. But what I'm looking at here is that ETH maybe does get a bounce. I would be very curious to see what happens once it retests this sort of range here at that 0.53% mark. Okay. Because it could get rejected. We might see Bitcoin go on a big charge. So maybe in the short term, we might see ETH push here, okay? And ETH might outperform Bitcoin, but maybe perhaps this is when Bitcoin does take over and it pushes ETH back down here, maybe creates a double bottom, okay? And then that might be a good time to maybe consider swapping some of your Bitcoin into Ethereum to push it back up into this range. Obviously, ETH is having some sort of technical upgrades and stuff in the coming months. So that's also something to keep in mind, because if a utility sort of drives this price increase and that adoption again for people to go back into ETH. The DeFi on ETH is still booming, right? You still have lots of swaps in terms of layer 2s, now layer 3s, even layer 0s coming, right? So the technology is still there. However, traders don't want to be on there at the moment. We've seen that for months, okay? We've seen that for nearly 9 months now, really. Since about mid last year, everyone was really jumping on the Solana bandwagon because it was cheap, because it was fast, and it's easy to use if you have a smaller wallet, right? Whereas ETH still has that gas problem. It still has that liquidity problem that a lot of traders aren't on there. So for me, I'm expecting maybe a little bounce here in the short term just to push it back towards that 0.53 level. And then that's maybe when I really do considering maybe swapping some bags into ETH instead. But I did sell some of my ETH here. As soon as we broke this line here, I did sell some of my ETH into Bitcoin and to Solana because it was performing better. As you can see here, this is essentially the chart of Solana versus ETH. It is a little bit skewed at the moment, so I might just tidy it up really quickly. But again, the trend is your friend, guys. So we're seeing high lows, high lows, high lows, high highs, high highs. So until this sort of breaks that structure, I'm still very much in the camp that Solana outperforms Ethereum, right? And it's yeah. So we've got a lot of time here to consolidate. So in theory, this could bounce here in terms of Solana and Ethereum moving up in the same capacity, but at some stage, one of them will outperform in the probably medium term. Okay, so this could push us all the way deep, and yes, this is quite a big, large setup. So this could push us all the way deep another 6 months into this year. So this could chop. We could chop for a few months, guys. Now, I definitely think that, and that's one thing I did forget to touch on here with Bitcoin is look at this consolidation. This is definitely consolidation before we make that next move up or we break down. Okay, I very much am in the camp that we break up. Obviously, it's a bull market. Halving does always see a little dump, either post or pre-halving. Obviously, we've seen a dump pre-halving, but as I said before, it's only 20%. So if you take that to the top there, to the bottom, less than 20%. So wasn't even that aggressive. So for me, this is a great consolidation. This is a great DCA area for Bitcoin. And if you do take a look at last cycle, this is how long it took Bitcoin to break out of this consolidation last cycle. So if we do take a look, halving was about here. It took us 84 days, so months of consolidation before we did see it move up. So patience is key, guys. And some of the best traded at all is no trade at all. Okay, so or being patient with your trades, right? And I'll talk about that very specifically regarding meme coins lately, because so many people are just failing to sort of see those meme coins see crazy returns at the moment. But that's generally because the market isn't really risk on 100%, right? So you want to be really patient with your trades. You want to go into the conviction plays, the established meme coins, the established altcoins, the established Bitcoin, right? And just be patient because time is on your side, okay? We are essentially way ahead of schedule this cycle. So for me, if May is actually sideways price action or even maybe a move down, that's bullish for a longer cycle. However, if we do start to push up in May, it's more than likely that we do see a top out at the end of this year or in 2025. The other thing I want to just quickly touch on is the dollar. So the dollar is also one to watch as well. As you can see here, we have bounced several times from support, but we are starting to see maybe a lower high here. So potentially this doesn't follow through over the next few days. So volume doesn't want to work for me at the moment in TradingView. But essentially, I'd love to see this maybe move back down, because then obviously if it does move down and it breaks back into this range and then we actually fall below that support, then that's great for risk on assets. Okay, so always keep an eye on the US dollar, because that is one that I like to track essentially to make sure that risk on assets are thriving. Now, really interesting too, guys, we've seen Bitcoin dominance charged towards that sort of 58 percentile range. It hit 56 and it started to come back down. So altcoins were obviously oversold. So a lot of people got back into altcoins at this sort of peak here. And that's why we've seen consolidation towards the downside in terms of Bitcoin dominance. But for me, this still very much shows you that majority of your portfolio should be in something like Bitcoin for a conservative play, for that savings account play. But as you reach these sort of levels up here at 60%, I don't see it really going higher than that. Maybe we push towards, yeah, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people say, oh no, it can go to 70%. I just don't see that happening. Like things like Solana and AVAX and even ETH, guys, like people are adopting that every single day. Okay. So I just don't see it happening. But for me, 60% is maybe where I do start to maybe consider, okay, maybe I need to swap some BTC into some more risk on asset plays. So some lower cap gems that follow maybe the gaming narrative, sorry, the AI, the real world asset plays. Okay. Those are the times when you want to scale out of your BTC into something a little bit more risky that you can make some serious crazy returns within a week. So 5 to 20x's if you are finding those low cap gems nice and quick. But that's dominance, guys. So let's dive into some other charts as well. I did show you the Solana versus ETH. Again, I said it will probably consolidate for a bit of time here. So we could consolidate sideways for quite a few months. The last chart I want to show you is the comparison before we move into some individual altcoins is obviously Solana versus BTC. This is a very interesting chart. As you can see here, compared to the Ethereum chart with Solana, it has less time in its consolidation phase before we might see a move. So if Bitcoin really takes the reins, this will see Solana collapse here and move back down to the water, probably towards this sort of range here, okay? However, if Solana does sort of catch up and maybe we do see some more narratives pushing Solana higher, so maybe Solana ETF, rumors, okay? Rumors and hype always drive price action. So maybe we see that break up here, okay? Or we push, consolidate closer to the apex, break up, confirm that, and go higher again. But for me, right, as you can see here, we still have a lot of upside in terms of Solana compared to BTC. And obviously, Solana still has a lot of upside towards its all-time high. So we did obviously break down here. We touched this beautiful level, obviously from last cycle at that sort of 120 area zone. We bounced very nicely off there. Shout out to Sexy in my group for catching the reversal dip. And we have been long ever since around there on several different altcoins. But that was just a pure liquidity play, guys. So the way we mark that off is obviously from last cycle, we saw a lot of liquidity respect that level as a support. We saw it not break above there as a sort of retest to maybe see if the bull market continues. So that was two different huge events. Okay. And then obviously more recently, we respected it before we saw consolidation back down to this level here, which was another big area. So you would have seen me on the timeline saying, I'm DCing hard into Solana between 122 and 77. And that's how I establish my ranges. Okay. I look at price action based on history and see where it's going to go. Obviously, you can use Fibonacci as well. But I won't dive into that live on this show. I might release a video again soon. I'm going to drop that in my private group as well first, and then maybe I'll throw it on YouTube in a couple of weeks' time. But Fibonacci is a great tool to be using as well, just to see where price action hits some levels and then does like to move up as well. FK, thanks for tuning in, mate. GM to you as well. Thanks for being here. But yeah, guys, so that's what I'm looking at. We've seen a nice, beautiful bounce from here. Solana's just got to consolidate here for a period of time. I think obviously this range here between sort of there to where we currently are is an accumulation range. So we did see a massive drop down in price. So if you're at the top all the way to the bottom, that's a 40% dip. That's huge for a bull market. That is opportunity in a bull market, guys. Okay, as I said before, buy the fear, sell the greed. Okay, really simple skill, the best skill that I would suggest in crypto. Let's look at AVAX. AVAX has really been quiet. Okay, so it saw that huge run up, right? We saw this huge weekly candle all the way push up towards that $65 mark, and then we haven't seen much since. So let's get rid of these. These are obviously Fibonacci levels that I was targeting for a long. We obviously broke through that huge support. Okay, so similar to what I just showed you on Solana, we have support and resistance from the last two cycles. Okay, and then obviously this cycle as well. So this is a big area for me for AVAX. So for me, AVAX still looks very nice here. We obviously held up. We set a higher low. So that's super bullish because it maintains structure on a high time frame. This is on a weekly chart, guys. So for me, we bounced nicely. If you open some longs down here, you got an absolute insane deal. You'd be up quite a considerable amount as well. I think it dipped to 29. So yeah, up quite a lot already. But as you can see here, AVAX does have a bit of sort of tough times ahead to really break and support this as support. So I'd love to see it sort of maybe push up here, consolidate, push up here, consolidate, bounce there, and then that would probably be a great long there, guys. So if I do draw that, where's my long? I got rid of it. No, that's emojis. Here we go. So you could long it from here, guys. You could probably set it below once it does show support. Depends on your risk tolerance, obviously. So if you're really risk adverse, you probably set your SL all the way below that liquidity there at 29. All the way so this is a long to all-time high, guys. This is the sort of, and this is why my risk to reward ratio is is a lot higher, right? Because this is the time of the cycle to be longing for all-time highs. So for me, that's a 6.5. Obviously, in the more conservative approach, you'd probably maybe say that it hits these sort of levels here at 9. Yeah, $100 for AVAX, it seems very reasonable, okay? And that's still a 3.4 ratio on lower leverage, right? With you setting your SL below this liquidity here that we did grab at 29. Obviously, if you're a bit more risk on and you do sort of see price action respect this level. So what I mean by that is essentially confirm this box, hold it, hold it, hold it. And I'd probably be more inclined to take more of a risk on approach in terms of setting my stop loss probably just below the yellow box and then back up towards that 100 zone. And as you can see here, that's an 8.6 risk ratio as well for that. So depends on the type of trader that you are. Maybe you're someone who's less active, so maybe you could start DCAing into something like this and setting your stop loss below this level and just being patient. And that's still a 3.6x ratio to reward. Okay, so for me, a very nice sort of play on AVAX is probably on the cards. Nothing's changed, right? It's still got utility. It's still got the gaming side of its ecosystem thriving, right? So it's a blockchain for devs. So I don't see that really stopping. So that's, again, it's one of my largest altcoin bags for a reason. Okay, but let's look at say. There's a bit going on here, so let's have a look. This is obviously from last stream. But as you can see here, same sort of chart to Solana before, guys. We actually broke down very aggressively, okay? So we did see the potential of a move up, but obviously with the market chose down. So this would have been a mad short if you did catch it. And shout out to Fred, who did catch a Bitcoin short, actually. But it went down 44%, okay? So that's a great reset for a bull market, okay? You don't get opportunities like this every single day. So a lot of people always go, oh, buy when you're seeing price action up here, okay? Wait for the dip, guys. Wait for the dip. You could have got it even here, okay? And obviously you could have got it here. So being patient in crypto is so underrated, okay? Time is on your side, okay? This cycle, for me, at least at the end of the year is when we maybe start to top out. So you've got still over 6 months of time in this market. So wait for red days before you start aping into some of these tokens. But that's what I'm looking at for say. For me, it's obviously held this level here at that sort of 0.56 region. So that's good to see that perhaps it does show support about there. So if we get rid of some of these other old trades, sort of setups, that's probably what I'm looking at for consolidation, at least, again, till July. Like we could see chop until July. So that's a couple months away. So that's say, guys. Joe is another one that follows under the narrative of AVAX. Obviously, we have, again, I'll clean up my charts. They're so busy. But as you can see, we've got sort of price action really fallen below. So very similar to AVAX. So it's fallen below a huge support and resistance level, okay? So for me, I'm looking at maybe flipping this level, holding it as support, and then that might be a really good long opportunity as well. But shout out to Sexy because I am long already, and the big man's already saying some stuff as well. Yeah, so as you can see, he's already DCing into Say, and I do like that. I think Say right now is a great sort of play. 40% down, why not? And I'll look at the Say BTC chart very shortly too. But it's really important to always compare it to BTC because at the end of the day, what would you rather hold? An asset that goes up more or an asset that goes not as up more, right? So for me, you want to always compare back to the big king of BTC because that's an important chart to look at to see whether you should be just holding BTC or whether you should be holding Say. And as I showed you with Solana's outperformed Ethereum and Bitcoin. That's why I had a big bag of Solana, okay? But as you can see here, Joe, guys, massive decks on AVAX, so why would you fade that if you know that the utility is really strong on there? But in theory, this could be a potential high, or it's definitely a higher low, okay? But it's not really a double bottom. Like you could potentially draw that as a double bottom, but because of this breakout, it sort of negates that. We sort of saw that fade out there, so negates the double bottom sort of play here. You could say this is potentially a cup and handle sort of play, but again, we saw that massive breakout here, which would have been that cup and handle sort of play. So it did break back down into its range. So for me, this is a new setup. So ignore all the price action here. What matters is getting over this support line at sort of that 0.67 region, was it? Yeah, 0.67 region. So just going back to say BTC. Let's have a quick look at that. As you can see here, guys, yeah, we've seen a big sell-off, okay? And this is, again, it outperformed. So this would have been probably October, I'd say. Yeah, October to sort of Jan, yeah, it outperformed 6.7x, okay? That's crazy. So Say did that, and now it's pulled back such a long way. So for me, it's probably a really good opportunity to maybe be getting into something like this because it bounced nice and well here. It's set a higher low, right? So it's set three high lows. So that shows me, okay, continuation, bull market trend. It's showing me that your trend is your friend, and we do see price action going up. So for me, I'll be looking. It's a bit of an aggressive line there, but that's probably where I'll be looking to see what happens in this price action here over on the side before maybe it continues high. But that's a nice bounce so far. Let's look at the fibs just to see sort of how far price action did actually come back. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's go to fibs. So we go from there to there, and we look, and mate, don't argue with the text, guys. And that's probably why Sexies love and say as well. Look at that. That is why we use price action, technical analysis, and anyone that fades technical analysis is not using it because it is extremely reliable. Okay, maybe it doesn't tell you everything, but at the end of the day, it tells me where some good levels are. It tells me what is the trend, so whether it's bullish or whether it's bearish. And as you can see here, guys, I haven't even looked at this chart, but it's showing me it's bounced very nicely off at 0.786. So for me, say right now seems a great DCA opportunity if the market is sort of going across as well. It's also sitting above its 200 EMA as well. I need to upgrade my trading account. So on here, yeah, so I could change it. Oh, it doesn't want to show. I don't know what's happening right now. Oh, it's probably because I've got too many indicators on. I need to update my trading view so that I can have multiple indicators on there as well. But say obviously it's holding above its sort of 200 EMA, as Sexy is saying, but obviously it's bounced nicely against BTC. So that's what I'm looking at for say Jupiter. Again, lots going on. These are newer tokens. That's why you have to zoom in a lot further. So this is a Juke chart. Let me just clean it up a little bit. And very similar price action to what we've seen on all of these other tokens. We've seen a very nice dip in some of the top sort of DeFi plays across this cycle. So as you can see here, it was outperforming a lot of other tokens. We've since seen a massive dip. So let me just try and grab the bottom here for a fib level. So the way I draw a fib, guys, is essentially from the bottom all the way to the top, and you can draw it on several different time frames. I do it on a massive time frame because that's generally where I like to sort of trade on. I like to trade more on a macro style or dive into scalps on maybe 15-minute trades. A lot of people like to swing trade between that 1 hour to 1 day sort of charts, but find your niche, okay? Or find people that do other things and then work with them, okay? And that's what the beauty is of this market and its community, is that you have several people who have an expertise in different areas. And that's what I love about my group, because we do have several expertise across that. But as you can see here, guys, it literally, Jupiter nearly touched its 0.786 level as well. So for me, a very strong token, okay? Definitely one you want to be holding this cycle for the DeFi play. Very similar to Joe on AVAX, but this is obviously on Solana. So for me, Jupiter looks very nice here as well. Celestia, it's seen a bit of FUD recently because a lot of people haven't really seen much of the airdrops that they were promised. So we are seeing this sort of bull pennant sort of play out. So that essentially just means price action goes up, then we consolidate. So this chart looks very similar to MOG, which I'll show you very shortly. But this is probably not a bad area to maybe DCA into some Celestia, guys, because it will come back, okay? It still has that strong narrative of having that potential airdrops. And obviously, now Sexy says here, it's got one airdrop coming right now. So for me, this isn't maybe a bad play to maybe get into some Celestia as well. Let's look at Radium. So again, Radium broke down just like the rest of the cycle. It hasn't broken back into its range, okay, as you can see here. So that's a lot of altcoins are going to be very similar here. Where it breaks down, it probably dumped quite a lot. So let's have a look. I suppose if you take it from its absolute peak all the way to there, that's a 60%. That's crazy, 60%. But say, so from the breakdown to here, from there, it's about a 45%. So it's still quite a long way. But for me to get more bullish on on Radium, it's to come back here and show me strength by holding this support level here at that sort of $1.90 sort of region. But again, guys, zoom out. This is a daily, so let's go to the weekly. The trend is your friend. As you can see here, Ray has a lot of upside. I don't think it'll make an all-time high. But I have exposure to this from a long way down. But it's showing me higher lows. Okay, so higher lows. So we saw a massive rounding bottom. That's what you want to see in a bear market. Tokens that are consolidating sideways, okay, not going all the way down like this. Okay, that's a negative sort of trend. You want it to find consolidation and then start grinding up into this bull market cycle, which we've seen. Came back down, flag up, came back down, flag up would be the next sort of move in the coming months. But for me, as you can see here, guys, it's set so that you got a high low there, high low there, high low here. So again, the trend's your friend. Why would you fade this? Maybe a great DCA entry for Radium as well. Immutable, I haven't spoken about Immutable for a while as well, but again, same sort of chart, guys. A lot of these altcoins are going to be the same at the end of the day. It's come down quite a lot. So if you do take it from the top of its peak up here down to there, it's 50%. So again, it's a sale, guys, for some of these premium sort of plays that we've been holding for a long time. So this is Beam. Let me just clean up the chart a little bit again. And we've seen it's very similar chart to other altcoins that we just looked at. So if we take the fib from the bottom all the way to the top, we would have seen that it nearly same as well, touched off its golden ratio at 0.618. So for me, we're seeing we have seen movement back up into ranges. So it looks like we could probably even say this might be even a bull pennant right here on Beam, which is very nice actually to see. That's more of a bullish structure that I like to trade meme coins with as well. But that's, yeah. So again, Beam has so much utility going for it. So why would you fade the utility side? But also its chart is showing me strength here as well. So again, it's a higher low. You've seen it here down the bottom. You've got consolidation, but a higher low. And then we only dipped down to this level, and we're setting currently higher lows multiple times as well there. So that's bullish structure as well. So those are the ones I'm looking at. Dogecoin, obviously, there's a bit going on here on my chart as well, so let's just clean that up. It's always good to check out the memes because they are essentially dominating this cycle compared to a lot of other markets. So why would you fade that? And as you can see here, Doge consolidated for a long period of time. So that's, again, what I like to see during a bear market before you see that bull market breakout. But Doge is sort of really an interesting one for me. You're seeing a lot of other sort of newer tokens, meme coins that have probably more of a sort of respect around the traders these days, maybe more of a normie factor compared to Doge, sort of outperform. But I do think Doge maybe pushes up with time. Not much going on in this chart. So for me, I probably fade this and probably look to trade some other sort of meme coins like MOG, for example. And Nub is another one that we just caught a 2x overnight with. So those are the ones I'm looking at. Pepe is probably the one that I would consider maybe holding some positions. We did long it. We caught the bottom, or I caught the bottom down here. Maybe not quite that one, but maybe this week here I caught the bottom and traded back up to this range. I have taken profits on Pepe, purely just to be risk on, sort of more to the point that we might break down again. So I wanted to just conserve my leverage there and just be happy with the returns on Pepe. But for me, as you can see here, guys, it's broken back into that range. So Pepe looking very nice here. Consolidation. Again, this is a large chart. This is on a weekly consolidation all the way to August. Does make sense for a lot of these tokens. So those are my altcoins, guys. Let me know in the comments if there's any that you want me to check. I'm more than happy to do that. I'm just going to have a quick coffee break. Obviously, guys, if you're new here, please subscribe. Down below if you're on YouTube. If you are watching on Twitter, actually, please obviously give me a follow. But check out my YouTube, guys. I've got over 180 videos now, all around predominantly meme coins, but also those skills in meme coins can be adopted in altcoins for NFTs, Ordinals, RUNES obviously now as well. But check out my videos, guys. There's so much educational content on there regarding the whole market of crypto. And I actually just dropped one just now about why I'm longing Bitcoin to 100,000, if not higher. So check out my channel, guys. I really do appreciate it. MOG price target F key. We'll get to it very shortly, mate. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. We'll get to it. All right, so obviously, thanks for being here as well, guys. I really do appreciate it. Let's move on then. Yep, so no one's too keen on any other tokens. I gave a good analysis there around a lot of the top altcoins, but let's just have a quick look on what's sort of outperforming. These four, this is always to check out too, guys. So I go to CoinMarketCap often and check out what the hottest categories are across the general market. And if you see something trending here, that's often a good sign that you're in the right tokens, right? If you don't see it trending here for a couple months, probably avoid those sort of tokens or avoid that particular narrative. So memes, obviously, I'm a massive meme coin trader. Been doing that for nearly a year now. So that's one you want to have exposure to. Solana ecosystem, we've spoken about that quite at depth already. So Jupiter, Radium's on there. Pith is another one that I have exposure to. Jito's another one. Orc is probably one that you could also throw into that mix as well. Render could classify under the Solana ecosystem, but also falls under the other AI/gaming narrative. So those are your top altcoins under these. But we will, we'll dive into them. It's been a while since I've done them. Degen is actually not a bad. Bogen, we'll look at Degen. Just remind me later in the show to double check Degen. It's a base meme coin that's done very well. But yeah, guys, this is always good to check out what's happening here across sort of what's trending, right? And over on the side we have the Fear and Greed Index, like I showed you before. But let's just take it the last week. Great to see Bonk back up. I do have exposure to Bonk. HBAR, wow, it's gone up crazy this week as well, 60%. But again, a lot of these, so Bonk's up 83% for the past week, but let's just have a look at how far it came down for that, right? And that's what you got to remember too. It's not just been up only. So as you can see here, it's only pushing back to its range that it was before that dump, right? So it was at this range at what's the market cap here? 1.75 bill. It went all the way down here to crazy levels, right? So it's only pushed back into the range that it already was ages ago. So that's what I mean by buying the dips, guys. You want to be buying red days, okay? Even if the red day is 10 to 15%, that's better than buying a green day. So always think about that across the market. So great to see Bonk back in action. I do have have exposure to Bonk. It's sort of meme coin plays on Solana. Floki, I don't know. They've got good tech apparently. I have heard, but I'm just fading that. Akash is a really interesting play around that AI sort of narrative as well. Arweave, good to see it pumping as well. That's one that I wanted to have exposure to, but just was showing me not a lot of love for a long period of time, so I did avoid it. WIF has obviously bounced quite nicely up to 3.33. I hope I still have my long open. Actually, I got my long was geez, I have to check that. I had a long open from 2.2, so let's hope that's still open. Near Protocol, probably one that I have been sleeping on, but I think is probably not a bad play for an easy, maybe sort of 3 to 5x minimum returns this cycle. So maybe it's a good opportunity to pick up some near coin at the moment as well. So if we dive into that, always good to check out what's happening on the utility side. So they've dove heaps into the AI sort of side of things. As you can see here, went down all the way to 4.5. So that's nearly a 2x bounce. Like, guys, this is what I mean. Buy the dip, guys. Buy the dip in a bull market, okay? So come back to this range. Probably I won't, like, it could be a good DCA here. But I would love to see it sort of maybe consolidate further down here around that $6 mark. And then that's maybe a good buy for near, pushing back towards its all-time highs as well. All right, so those are the sort of top performing of the plays. 24 hours, obviously, it's the same sort of tokens as we've seen up the top. But let's dive into the specific categories. So meme coins, obviously, let's go 24 hours. Oh, you're going to get some absolute Mew. Yeah, Mew's up 30%. I was talking about that yesterday on Twitter as well. Great to see. Mog's also up 30%. It's a race, honestly, between some of these tokens to who's going to go to 1 bill first as the cat token. Mew's obviously got an easier sort of run. It's only less than 2x. Mog is about 3x now, 4x. It was about a 4x. No, it was actually a 5x. I was DCAing at 180 million. So it's up even further. That's so good to see. So for me, Mog is definitely the one that I think probably outperforms on Ethereum. Okay, I still have exposure to WIF and Bonk on Solana, and obviously I actively trade in and out of a few on Solana as well. My current holdings, we'll go through that very quickly. Okay, we'll get to memes very shortly, but specifically on Dex Screener, because that's I much prefer memes on Dex Screener. But Solana ecosystem, let's have a look. You're seeing positive up the top, so green across both volume and market cap. So that's always good to see. Let's look at what's pumping. Suzubek Network, haven't heard of it, so I might need to dive into it. It looks like a new token, market cap quite low. Yeah, probably fade that one. PopCat, another meme coin that has seen a lot of love. It's up to 416. It's pretty crazy that PopCat is worth more than Mog. I think it's because Mog's on ETH, guys. I genuinely think if Mog was on Solana, it would probably be higher than both PopCat and Mew. But that's why I want exposure to, because it's the dominant one outside Pepe, obviously, on Ethereum that I think outperforms. But good to see. You're seeing a lot of Solana. You're seeing just meme coins, guys, dominate Solana, and that's great because at the end of the day, it means that there's people using the chain, right? But let's go to gaming. Gaming's one that just is still really chilling. Right? So it's still probably undervalued in my opinion. But as you can see here, Mutable, a lot of green across the market across the past week. But let's see what showed strength off the bounce, because that's always the ones you want to keep an eye on, right? So but maybe so here is maybe. I have heard of that before. Oh, it's gone the other. Let's go back again. Chart is a little bit delayed. There we go. Floki, yes. See, Floki does. Maybe I need to dive into Floki more than just the meme that it is. Okay, maybe I need to do that at my own time. Guildfides will start to sort of bounce as well, so that's good to see. Immutable showing a lot of strength as the top gaming token, so that's good to see. Gala's one that I faded ever since the FUD of founders. I was like, I don't really want to have exposure to that. So shout out to the Gala people who are invested in that. It's good to see them moving up as that sort of marketplace play. Nakamoto's, that's one of my bags. Good to see it bounce nice and hard. As I said, Yield Guild Games are starting to bounce as well. D-Race, I made so much money on D-Race last cycle. Again, I'm avoiding it this cycle. Treasure Magic, good to see it bouncing as well. Big Time is one that I think is massively being slept on, guys. Shout out to Sexy, who's got us in a long on that already. But I do think, like, I saw an ad just on my TV the other day of Big Time, guys. So that was bullish enough for me to go, okay, I need to deploy some more capital into that. So Big Time has that strong sort of gaming narrative play. It actually has a utility game, which is great to see. And it's obviously got really strong marketing. So that's really good to see. So for me, Big Time's definitely one that I've got exposure to. Now we're starting to dive down. These are ones that have bounced. These remnants of last cycle here, guys. Sandbox and Decentraline. I made crazy, like, I think it was like 8x in like 2 weeks on Sandbox last cycle. So that's what I mean, guys. The bull market crazy returns are ahead. Just stay patient, get into conviction plays now, and then once we know these really hot narratives, that's when you want to be deploying maybe some of your lower risk plays into higher risk plays at the end of this cycle. So that's what I'm looking at there, because that's what happened last cycle. Sandbox went from like $2 to $8 in the space of like a week. It was something crazy, guys. Coming down here, I don't really have too much exposure to some of these tokens down the bottom, but it's always good to see what bounced the hardest after a little dump. And then obviously the last sort of trending area, dude, I need to get in near. Yeah, so the fact that it's already acknowledging that near has the AI as well, guys. Oh man, I need to get into near. I think near definitely pushes towards top 10, guys. So for me, I'm looking at that. I do have exposure to Tau, so great to see it still. It hasn't really shown much, but it's stable coin really over on the side there. So good to see it. Showing a cash is obviously the one that we spoke about before, showing a lot about bounce as well. Oh, so maybe, yeah, look at that chart over on the side. So maybe it did see maybe a drop of news, and that's why we saw a massive price increase over the past few days. So let's move elsewhere now, guys. Obviously, yeah, it's so sexy as well. Big time risk to rewards is absolutely incredible. I couldn't agree more. Let's move into runes, guys. I'm just gonna have to close a few tabs because my internet is starting to slow down a bit. So might take a little drink break, guys. Obviously, if you're new here, please subscribe. Please smash the follow button if you're watching on Twitter as well. And smash the like button because it helps the algo recognize me getting this content out to you. All right, let's see if let's move to Unisat, close coin market cap. And all right, so this is what we're looking at. So we're going to go into runes. Let me just have a quick drink of my coffee. So as Sexy says here, guys, yeah, big time risk to reward, and that's what I was showing you before with the charts, right? Where you have that green area of profit, and then the red area where your stop loss is. That risk to reward is really good on big time. Not only for its utility, but also from a trading chart perspective. So that's one that I've definitely picked up, and I am actually in a long as well, thanks to you, Sexy. And obviously, yeah, near. I think I need to get into near. That's what I'm doing straight after this show. All right, runes, guys. Runes is obviously meme coins, or let's call them fungible tokens on Bitcoin. It's great to see. We did see quite a good start, in my opinion. We saw such hype. We saw pubs go up like 11x in like a week or something. So for me, it's no surprise that, as you can see over on the side, a lot of these, Unisat's actually, dude, they've upgraded their platform since I've been on here. So that's good to see, actually. But it's no surprise to see a lot of red across the market, guys. Essentially new tokens that are just coming out. But like, look at this rubbish. Like, what is this? Like, what is that rubbish? But so for me, I think right now I'm still liquid. I actually still haven't bought any runes because I just wanted to see how it performs. But the two which are probably very common and very probably the two that a lot of people want exposure to are obviously Arctic Genesis Rune. So that's obviously in collaboration with Memeland. So for me, that's definitely, you don't want to sleep on that. And down 23% is probably not a bad bet, actually, to maybe start looking into the Arctic Genesis Rune token. And Satoshi Nakamoto, like, don't fade an obvious play, guys, okay? That screams like opportunity. That screams like a no-brainer play, right? So for me, those are the two that I'm really watching. Pups is one that I've picked up on Solana. I think it's a great sort of trade. It is, I suppose, a meme coin right now. So we can touch on that really quickly. But look at this. It's literally bounced from where I showed Twitter last night. So, excuse me. So as you can see here, guys, let me just draw my fibs out a little bit longer. It's bounced, guys. Like, this is a reversal pattern. So this is a descending wedge, which has a probability of always going to the upside more than going to the downside. So I DCA'd hard into this around this area of, I think, down to like 70 mil from memory, $35. Yeah, so we're up $12 already on this trade. Let's go. I've only just looked at this now, guys. So you're seeing my live reaction to pups. But for me, I'm probably going to swing trade pups. So I'll swing trade this up to the news, okay? In crypto, you always probably want to sell at the news dropping, because often, or at the airdrop, for example, you want to get out and at those times and then wait for price to do its thing and then maybe think about getting back in. For me, with this play, right, having exposure to pups now on Solana is the easy way to have exposure. Trade this back up towards its all-time high. So for me, I was down in around here, DCA. So that's a 3.5x. So take a 3.5x in Solana. Once maybe I could scale out here, but once we maybe see some more news about how pups is going to be deployed as a rune, or maybe the time frame more specifically, that's maybe when I look to also sell, because then I can convert some of my gains from the Solana and then actually buy the Runes token um, on Magic Eden or on Unisat once it is actually live. So that's my play with pups. But as you can see, we're already up like nearly 50%. That's crazy. That's so good to see. Let's go. But yeah, pups is the one that I outside obviously Arctic, Genesis Rune, and Satoshi. That's the only other one that I've really considered having exposure to at the moment. We're seeing a lot of, until really the UI gets better. I just like, being early is good because you're becoming familiar with how to buy and sell these tokens. And I did drop a YouTube video on how to buy, sell, and sort of mint some of these rune tokens, so definitely check that out. But for me, like, trading now is not a bad play, but you just need to be patient. Again, we're in the consolidation phase. We've seen a massive hype in runes. Ordinals have actually come down quite aggressively as well. And we'll look at those very shortly because I'm actually very curious about maybe picking some up there. But for me, these two are the only ones that I think probably hold sort of status, but also hold a good market cap longer term. The rest of these, I just don't see, like, it's just not a new meme, guys. Like, so why would, like, Bitcoin, Pepe, Matrix, like, no, like, you're not gonna, like, that's not gonna make money. The ticker is ELSA. I did speak about that before, but can it hold relevance for a long enough time? Maybe not. Okay, so we'll just keep an eye on this, guys. But those are the two that I'm looking at for runes. Obviously, you can trade these on Unisat. That's really good to see them increase their UI. I like that a lot because before it was a bit clunky, so that's good to see. Magic Eden obviously have their platform as well. That's just gone live as well. So I'll show you what that looks like. This is what it looks like here. So select a rune. So yeah, they're still probably Unisat looks better already because it has that sort of summary page right now. As you can see here, this is what it looks like when you want to buy some of these. So I'll just show you the comparison actually. But this is what it looks like if you want to buy Satoshi Nakamoto. So its market cap is down to 69 million. Holy moly, that's gone down heaps. You know what? That's probably a good DCA range. I don't mind that range for on like the one of the top runes. Okay, so we're seeing some good opportunities now in the Bitcoin ecosystem because it was so hyped, guys. So good to see. So Satoshi's probably at a nice area. What's good about Magic Eden is that they're actually going to have a swap token too. A swap ability soon. Utility is the word I'm trying to get. Greeny, come on. Swap utility soon. So that's really good to see. But yeah, okay, we're at 69 million. That's not a bad area. 42 bending. You know what? Hopefully I'm not pumping the market now too. So that's one I want to keep an eye on. But this is what it looks like on Magic Eden, okay? And then this is obviously what it looks like on Unisat when you come to buy, okay? So very similar. I probably prefer the UI on Magic Eden. However, that homepage, this is elite, guys. That's better than Magic Eden right now. So always have both open because you can also maybe see an arbitrage too. So let's have a look here. You got 750,000 rune tokens at $0.01 each. So let's compare that to what's currently on Magic Eden. So 100 at sort of price. Oh, I need to at 0. Yeah, no, is this? Have I got the right one? Oh no, I'm on a different token. That's why I was like, prices aren't matching here. All right, let's go this way. So we're looking at Rune, guys. So as you can see here on Unisat, it's at 0.01, okay, at 750,000, and price over here is at 0.08. Okay, so price here, guys, as you can see, 0.08. So Magic Eden is serving up a discount right now. So it's always good, guys, to check out the marketplaces to see which one has the better value for some of these rune tokens. As you can see here, Magic Eden currently has it at a slight discount. I do want to show you just one other website that you can use to trade these. So that's actually OKX. Let's go to Runes page. They have a better summary page to the Magic Eden. So Magic Eden probably coming in third right now with their summary pages. Let's go to Rune here and see what its current price action is, 0.0092. So for me, if you're buying something, guys, always do due diligence across these three marketplaces and find the best one that has the lowest listings, because otherwise you're paying at a premium, guys. Like literally, like look at this here. Like it's way higher, 0.0101, and Magic Eden is like so much less. And like we're talking Bitcoin, guys, so that's quite a considerable amount. That could be a couple $100 difference in terms of buying into some of these tokens. So definitely keep an eye on the charts, guys, and the marketplaces, okay, because they are where you want to be. All right, let's go to Magic Eden. Let's look at Ordinals because Ordinals as well have seen a lot of love. But you know what's not seeing a lot of love now is your pre-runes meta tokens. And this is a classic example of selling the news, guys, okay? So Runestone, it pumped all the way up to about 0.08. Okay, a lot of people are looking for 0.1 BTC, just didn't quite get there. It's obviously down like a 4x really, like so it's down like probably 80% really from its all-time high sort of region. Rune Pups, it's down from zero point 0.2 BTC. Prometheus went up to 0.1 as well. Arctic is also down. It pumped to about 0.8, 0.08, 0.09, but with an all-time high of about 0.12. So that's also down around quite a lot as well. So for me, it's good to see this because maybe we do now. This is showing you maybe there are some opportunities here if you follow these teams. So Runestones, the R6 teams, etc., for maybe some upcoming airdrops. Dive into maybe which one has the better offering for the airdrops as well. But for me, that's why I wanted to be liquid, guys, because of exactly what is showing you here. And so I took aggressive profits on my Runestones, on my RSIC. I took aggressive profits on my Rune Pups, way lower than this, but I was very happy with that sort of 5x returns. But it's good to see this coming back. But what I really am looking at now, guys, is actually the ordinals, okay? So you want to zag while other people are zigging, okay? So for me, we're seeing some opportunities here on puppets at 0.32. That could be a steal, guys. Wizards, not a bad play at 0.25. Again, I'm very curious about that ecosystem. No monkeys for me. I just like it. I'll show you this chart, guys. Hold on. So I asked this genuinely, like this is a genuine question because like the four top ordinals collections are for sure like they are the dominant four at the moment. So I just don't see them sort of really changing. So yeah, so Jamie, you're exactly right. So the snapshot was done for the Runestone and the RSIC, but the RSIC dumped as well. So really interesting. But more than that, though, it was the pre-Rune hype that drove it all the way up. And then obviously we've seen a massive dump. And that always happens in crypto. It goes up, hype. Once the utility or once the airdrop drops, often we go down, okay? We go into a lull, and then during that lull, okay, that DCA sort of area, once it forms a bottom, that's a great time to accumulate if it has a strong potential for going up higher again. But these are the four ordinal top collections. Obviously, we're seeing that sort of be the top four is what a lot of people are labeling them. But have a look, guys, at the chart. Which one screams value? It's the puppets. So I kind of agree though. Like as someone who's been part of only the puppet ecosystem out of those four, it's just different. I think it's because it's so genuine. It was a fair launch. Influencers weren't shilling it. We got in around 0.04 initially in the group. I traded all three of mine out across sort of, from about 0.1 all the way to 0.25. Obviously, they ran to nearly 0.5. I wish I did hold one, but that's okay. I was happy with, I took profits in Euphoria, guys, and I was happy with that. But now we're seeing a potential opportunity for some pullbacks on some of these top ordinals, which I do think all four of these maybe trend towards 1 BTC in time. It's just which one probably gets there first. So obviously you got the provenance of Node Monkeys being earlier inscriptions, okay? OMBs have that real niche community, kind of dope art. I much prefer the OG eyes to the new collection, but that's just me. That's my personal choice. Quantum Cats, obviously you've got the Wizards coming in a way, the Taproot. I don't know, like the art's not too bad, but for me, Puppets just screams like a great vibe, man. And like, why fade that? And if anything, what's the largest narrative this cycle, guys? It's the memes, right? So for me, it's the Puppets community just seems like a no-brainer. So let's just have a quick look at the chart. Because excuse me, where we have seen a massive pullback, guys, and that's what you want to see. You want to be a lot of people listing. Is it one wallet? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's one. Oh, it's one. Holy moly! Yeah, so it's one massive wallet, guys. So this is really getting juicy. So keep an eye on this. At the moment, we're seeing listings at 850. Ownership still very high at 66%. So that's great to see. But as you can see here, we're seeing a massive pullback. We haven't seen. My chart gets glitchy. We haven't seen these sort of levels. Yeah, look at this. We haven't seen levels like this since the start of April, guys. So maybe this is really starting to reach a nice area, okay, for a bounce. So we saw a nice little double bottom there. We saw a nice little curvature up there, but we failed to break that sort of previous high here at that 0.47 sort of mark. So for me, that was a lower high there. So that shows me, bearishness. A lot of people selling off. That whale is trying to dump a lot of its puppets for BTC, maybe because of runes, guys. So runes also dumping. So for me right now, guys, maybe a good time to DCA into some of your plays. Obviously, 0.32 is still a lot of money. Like a third of a Bitcoin is a lot of money. And the question I always ask is, is a third of a Bitcoin going to be better as holding Bitcoin and outperform, or is it going to be better by maybe buying a puppet right now? And does a puppet outperform Bitcoin in price? I probably lean towards a puppet maybe going at a faster ROI compared to Bitcoin. But then I then question myself again. I take it back even further and I go, okay, Greeny, is 0.32 Bitcoin better in maybe a Runes token or in a Solana meme coin or in leverage where I know what I'm doing very consistently and maybe I can make more money than what a puppet could do or what Bitcoin can do in the same time frame. So always analyze your trades, guys. Don't just ape into something without thinking about it holistically and your opportunity cost, because that's what we are as traders at the end of the day. We want to have an opportunity cost that is on our side, okay? So for me, I look at this, I become very interested in puppets under 0.25 BTC. So if we see lower than that, I probably think that's not a bad play for an easy swing trade back to 0.5. If not, maybe a longer hold towards 1 BTC in the future later this year. I don't see, if you compare Ethereum NFTs. So let's just have a look at that. If you compare some of these Ethereum NFTs, okay, so this is 12.65 for an ape that is literally doing nothing this cycle. So if you look at the value of that, so what's ETH right now? 12.65. ETH is 32. Yeah, so 12.65 times 3250 is $41,000. Okay, for a Bored Ape. Okay, and it ran to 500k last cycle, 500k, $500,000. Okay, for a Bored Ape, and fair enough. That last cycle, I give apes everything. They did everything last cycle. This cycle, no. But if you look at what excuse me. If you look at so an ordinal right now, so puppets at 0.32 and BTC is at about $66,000. So what's that? Let's do some quick math. So times $66,000. Guys, opportunity. It's only 21k for a puppet compared to, mate. Why wouldn't, like, if you're a trader, why would you not be buying? Why would you not be buying two puppets instead of a Bored Ape? Right? Seriously. So for me, that's what I'm looking at. I'm just going to read the comments really quickly. Maneki, we'll look at Maneki. It's been seeing a lot of hype, bro. I'll look at that very shortly. All right, let's have a look. Or at least a few of them, including Satoshi Nakamoto. I need to. Yeah, it does have a chart on Coin Gecko. Hey, let's have a look really quickly. Sorry, guys. My voice is starting to go. It's been a while since I've done a stream. Obviously, if you're new here, guys, please like, subscribe the video. I do appreciate it. And it helps the algo recognize me, getting this education out to you as much as I can. So here's the Satoshi Nakamoto chart. So we're bouncing the day. Yeah, as you can see here, guys. So it pumped all the way up to about $9. Oh, dude, man, I'm going to buy some live in the show. No, I'll do it after the show because I haven't connected my wallet yet to Rune. So no, I'll do it after the show. I think this is a great DCA range. If you're bullish, if you have liquidity on Bitcoin and you're bullish on Runes, which I think you should be, I don't think you want to fade that. Satoshi Nakamoto at this price level seems a good buy. Pups, as I obviously showed you before, on Solana, as I said, I gave you my strategy around I want to swing trade it, then take the profits, and then move those two runes to buy the Pups rune once it is live, is probably the play. Is the chart available for the RSIC runes token? That's the one I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Yeah, no, it is. Cool. Let's go. Show me chart. No, it's preview only. Damn. So it's only preview only at the moment. So again, once we start to see sort of these collections, marketplaces adopt charts and adopt easy way to analyze these sort of runes, that's when the adoption probably starts to come in. But for me, guys, like, let me know in the comments, like, are you buying, would you rather buy ordinals here that are probably maybe less liquid, okay? Or are you buying some of your runes? Or are you even buying some of your pre-runes like Prometheus or Runestone or Rune Pups? Let me know in the comments because I am very curious about what people are doing at the moment around the market. But for me, I've given you my thesis. I'm very curious to hear what you guys are doing as well. All right, let's move to meme coins. I touched specifically, really quickly, on Ethereum NFTs. A little bit of a bounce, okay, not a lot. 20%, sort of 10% to 20% move on a lot of these, which the market has also seen. But again, I always say, guys, like, opportunity cost. Like, would you rather be liquid in some altcoins? Would you rather be liquid in sort of maybe meme coins on even on ETH or on Base is another one, obviously, that we've seen a lot of love recently. Rather than holding, excuse me, guys, rather than holding some of these. So yeah, so for me, ETH NFTs I just don't see it. I think Pudgies is the only ecosystem that I would look to buy. and for a longer period of time. Oh no, actually, sorry, that's a lie. Captain's ecosystem, not a bad play. I think they're also not a bad play in the meme land scenario. Okay, so that's enough on that. Let's go to meme coins. We've done quite a lot of analysis on ordinals and on some of these other markets like runes as well. I'm going to leave my tabs open so I can remember what I said I was going to buy this episode. So I want to buy some near protocol. I want to look at some runes and I want to look at some ordinals as well. Okay, cool. I've got those tabs open for later. I can get rid of blur. Oh, actually. One more thing. Blur blast unlock in about a month's time. I think that's going to be huge, right? I think that is going to be massive for. Let me just get out of this. Hold on. My internet's just been a bit dodgy. Let's just have a look. All right. I think I'm coming back. Okay. There we go. All right. I think I'm good. I'm thinking I'm good. Yeah. There we go. So okay. One blur. Now, I have staked from day one my blur. I avoided Blast altogether. I didn't have the time. I didn't want to dive into that. It looked like an absolute Ponzi scheme where whoever got in early then shielded their referral link. Then obviously they got more traders underneath them who then allocated more to just a classic Ponzi scheme that whoever has larger influences on Twitter and on socials got probably a large airdrop. Okay, that's classic. So I avoided that. Blur unlock, maybe Blur moving to Blast, making it better for fees. Very interested to see if this third airdrop really pays out us as lucrative as the first two did, and whether whether the money stays in the ecosystem. Like Pac-Man, I definitely think probably keeps liquidity there with some incentives, but I think maybe that leans towards the Blast narrative. However, if he can incentivize ETH NFTs in a different way, to what we've seen obviously on Blur for the past sort of year and a half now, 2 years, then I think NFTs on ETH could make a comeback. Okay, I really do. If he can really capture keeping that liquidity in there, not transferring to Bitcoin or to Solana, okay, and actually incentivizing us for maybe something else, okay, and that would probably lean more towards the Blast sort of side of things in my opinion, because it is obviously a layer 2 on Ethereum. So that's my 2 cents on that. I have I don't even know. I haven't even looked at. I don't need to connect my wallet, but I haven't even looked at the airdrop in such a long time. So I really hope it pays me out a decent amount, and then I will probably liquidate it at least probably to ETH maybe, and then from there I'll think about what I maybe do. But I think a lot of people are still fading Blast. So just keep an eye on Blast, guys. So let's move to meme coins. That's why a lot of you are here. You love my meme coin sort of charts. This is a big one for me, guys. I obviously was asking on the timeline, what's the first cat to get to 1 million? Mog was voted number 1, so I will be buying a Mog bag later today. I hate buying here because I did buy down here around 180 to 220 mil as a nice DCA range. So we are currently up quite a lot on that trade already. Yeah, 80%. So that's great to see. But yeah, look, I mean, I'm still bullish on Mog going way higher. And this is a great example, guys, of patience. Okay, a lot of people don't have patience in crypto, and as you can see from here, Mog went down 70%. That's quite a big retracement, but look at the chart, guys. This is a bullish pattern. Okay, so study TA, guys. Investopedia is a great site. That's one I use. I studied hours and hours of people on YouTube, trading courses, etc., that are free. I never paid for it because there's plenty of books out there, plenty of websites you can use that are free. And send me a DM, guys. More than happy to help you out if you need on particular chart patterns or how I like to trade. I actually did a tweet recently a little bit around some of the terminology that I use. Sorry, I'll see if I can find that. But for me, guys, this is a bullish pattern because it is obviously a descending. It can be a wedge, so you can draw this as a wedge, kind of like that. Okay, so as you can see here, lows are getting closer together, so that would indicate a wedge. So that's bullish structure. You could say it's a pennant as well, which is so a descending pennant. Which is essentially also a reversal pattern during a bull flag. So coming up like this, okay, and then price action consolidates like this for a period of time, and then it breaks back up to the upside. And then obviously, ideally, what you want to see is the same sort of structure again, or consolidation sideways. So you can either have price like this, okay, which maybe consolidate sideways and push up like that, or you could see same sort of structure again. You might see like maybe a breakout pattern like this. Okay, so price goes in here like this. That's more 50-50. Breakout patterns where it's symmetrical triangle are 50-50 patterns, right? Whereas something that shows me strength like this, okay, So similar to the one down the bottom, but if price action respects a top like this, the more times it bounces to the top, the more times it's probably going to break the top and head higher, guys. So that's bullish. However, bearish is often the other way. So this would be bearish. Okay, so price action comes in here and goes like this. That is more probability of it breaking down. Okay. However, if it is continuing in a bullish trend like this, often maybe a chart setup like this can actually break to the top side as well. So I use probability. It's never certain, but TA does give you indications around where price is respecting and where price can head in a bullish or bearish sense. So for me, keep an eye on this. Maybe we might see another pattern up here like this where price comes up and MOG consolidates around 500 million before it pushes towards that $1 billion mark. But for me, guys, like, it's just such a strong community token. It's such a strong meme. Why fade something like this, guys? So that's what I like to do. I like to come to Deck Screen Up and find whatever's the top volume just to see if there's a new meta that's jumping on. I don't even know what this is, but some elong very like derivative like this, just oh man, like this is on ETH too. So 2 issues. Yeah, it has blacklist, have whitelist. Yeah, I'm not trading on ETH. Like the best way, go to new pairs, Deck Screener, guys, and just look at all these tokens. This is with all chains. Look at the top, all chains. So ETH, there you go. Elon 11th. Base, okay, good to see base. Whiff on base. Oh my god, are you serious? Whiff on base. That's oh man. It's so funny. But what's dominating, guys? Tell me what's dominating. Solana. Okay, so don't fade it. Let's see. But we got a request for Degen. Degen's obviously one of the top. I don't know if I've ever charted it on Deck Screener. Let's have a look. So Degen's one of the top plays on base, guys. This is what it looks like at the moment. Really nice sort of pullback, right? That's what you want to see. This looks very similar to early days like Mog and Whiff, guys, where you saw a mad run up and then you saw price sort of consolidate before breaking higher. So Degen looks like a very nice play at the moment, actually. Maybe I can, on Blowfin, actually, maybe I can long this. So if we look here, guys, we saw a massive run up from here, like say 20th of March to the 1st of April. So over a 2-week period, you saw a 20x on Degen. This is one of the top tokens, 1.1 billion, insane. So you're seeing a massive retracement, which is great on one of the top meme coins on base. So don't fade base, guys. 52% retracement, not a bad area for DCA. Maybe we break up in the coming sort of weeks, okay, back towards here if the market is risk on. Again, I just want to show you something really quickly, guys, because a lot of people like lack the education, and I'm not. This is not me trying to shill my my YouTube, but I have a tutorial on base, guys. So look at this. Like this isn't my like. This is why I try and get so many of you over on Twitter onto my YouTube channel, because it's not just me in my channel. It's genuine sort of ways that I go about trading the market. It's tutorials on Photon, okay? It's how I use it. It's my settings behind the scenes. It's tutorials on how I trade meme coins on base, guys. So check that out. It's why I think Ordinals and RUNES are going to be the best sort of money makers a month ago. And sure enough, we saw that. Okay, so how to find good meme coins. A lot of us love all of this trading. So come to my YouTube channel, please, guys, and check it out. Okay, and if you can, obviously click the subscribe button, because it does help me grow. And I am trying to get this education as much as possible out to you as regularly as possible. I do try to drop at least a few videos per week. There is one dropping right now. Very soon, so keep an eye on that one as well. But that's a little personal shield. But that's Degen. Let's look at some of the other ones. So Whiff is obviously a popular one. Any others? Let me know. You're welcome, Bojan. Happy to do Degen, mate. So this is Whiff, guys. So oh my gosh, Greeny, what is going on with your chart, man? There's so much going on here. I must have been drawing this at another time. So Whiff is also in a very nice sort of consolidation pattern. We're seeing price action sort of respect those levels. Let's have a look. We probably could draw, support there. So again, this is a great example of where maybe price, this is more on a bearish, this is a bearish chart pattern, more than a bullish. However, the trend is your friend, okay? So perhaps we might see it sort of consolidate here and then get towards its apex around that 8% mark and then break up higher, as long as volume down the bottom increases as well, okay? So that's always a chart here. But yeah, it just, the probability of a chart pattern like this generally means something breaks towards the downside. I can show you a prime example. Oh no, yeah, bonk. A prime example of it breaking. So this is, oh dude, TA, guys. People fade TA. Look at this. Look at this. I drew this ages ago. But anyways, that's right. That's beside the point. as you can see here, guys, as I said before, if the market presents you with a general bearishness across the whole market, that's why this is statistically it breaks down towards the bottom of this of the setup. So why is my chart doing weird things? Okay, so as you can see here, it broke down. Where did we retest? The previous support and resistance zone, guys. So I would have drawn this ages ago. It's probably on the weekly. I don't know. Let's have a quick look. It's been a while since I've looked at bonk chart. I just hodl it. Yeah, there you go. So that's why I drew it. So it's a weekly respect here multiple times. Okay. And it bounced very nicely off there. And look at this, we're charging, guys. So again, you want to be buying during times like this, okay? During DCA opportunities where the market moves down, not when it's up here, okay? I saw people AB into this at 3.5 billion. I was like, man, what are you doing? Don't be doing that. And sure enough, guys, from literally from there all the way to just last week, that is 70% return of negative loss. So always do due diligence, guys. Checking out these coins. But yeah, great to see Bonk back. I do have exposure to Bonk. Maneki has been asked by Blue Sky. Let's check it out in the charts. So I was looking at this yesterday, and it obviously broke out, so I missed that trade there. You could probably actually, you know what? There we go. That's probably a cleaner trade, actually, Blue Sky. There you go, mate. So we're seeing that it sort of respected that. So this is a great example where it bangs up towards the top side, setting higher lows. That's bullish, right? Because it's showing me that it wants to break this region here, which it obviously has. And it so pumped up. It retested. So you see this big red candle here. I'll zoom in so it's a bit easier for you. But see this big red candle here, and that confirmed of holding that level. That's a great buy signal for me. Okay, so for me, I would have been looking either you could probably long the breakout. I don't mind longing the breakout, but if it breaks here and then breaks back in, that's generally bearish. However, what we saw is confirmation of holding that level and then now moving up like that. That is a great buy signal. That's what I love to find. So that is probably one of my favorite trade signals to buy. My other one, which you would have seen on Nub, is obviously massive double bottoms, okay? Those two are reliable indicators that I like to use across altcoins, but also meme coins as well. And it works on all time frames, guys. So this is a 15-minute time frame on Maneki. So you could definitely, and Nub was on maybe I think a 4-hour to a daily chart. But for me, this looks very nice. So the way you could target a sort of price action, so take profit sort of levels, is take your fib from the top, okay, where price has been respecting, to the bottom of this consolidation range. And then that's where I'd be looking at my target there. So that's based on price action now. That's still move for a potential 17% returns. Obviously, if you got the breakout, it's probably around a 50%. Yeah, not even 50%, so 36 returns percent. But this could push way up towards your higher fib levels if the meme is strong, which I have seen a lot of people shilling Maneki on the timeline. I haven't even looked into this meme, so maybe it's worth checking out. But 150 mil. This is another thing. The risk to reward, so the opportunity cost of this going higher, is probably not a bad bet because it's got strength. But for me, right, getting a 2x in something like this where it's already broken out, so I'm not taking a trade here, guys, because it has already broken out. So you're already behind by quite a considerable amount. So you're already behind 15%. But if it does, I would rather trade something that's lower market cap because a 2x is much more achievable at a lower market cap than it is right now at 150 million. So this has to go all the way up to 300 million for you to get a 2x. So for me, probably fade that. What I would have liked to see is trading that breakout there for Maneki. So let's have a look. I'm seeing a few comments now. Look, if these meme coins are just like absolute degenerate sort of stuff, I will not pay attention to it. So look at this sign. Let's have a look at this. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Fukuinu. I don't even know. This is what I mean, guys. This is what it looks like on a daily chart. Do some TA on that for me. Let's go 15-minute. Massive pump and dump. I haven't heard of this, so is it community driven? It must be a token, so I'd have to do a bit of research into it. I haven't checked the contract either to see if it's safe. I assume it is if it's worth 7.4 million. We obviously have a Twitter, website, Telegram, so that's good to see. We've seen a massive retrace on it already, so you go to 0, draw your fib to the top. We bounced very nicely at the 7.86, guys, so that would have been a trade there. Again, always look for the second pumps on these. Okay, so bounce there. That's already 50% gains if you caught that bounce there. For me, I'm probably avoiding something like this right now until maybe we see price action sort of just consolidate here. We might see, I'm avoiding something like this for now. Okay, let's just have a look. Another one that someone FUD around it. Yeah, exactly. So a lot of memes, as Sexy said, so it's FUD around this particular token that I just had on the screen. A lot of memes out there, guys, are from somewhere else. There's no it's whiff and stuff that are and bonk, right? That are initial like creative thoughts out of nothing, right? That are the ones that go hard. Gary, is this it? This looks terrible. Yeah, nah, fade this, bro. Like, okay, big one here. So who suggested this? Why crypto? Can I yeah, so this is big red flags for me. Even though it's at 25 mil, we're on a 15-minute chart, so let's just a little bit. This is big red flags, okay? Liquidity at 77K for a 25 million dollar FTV and 11 million market. That's red flags, okay? That's why you would be seeing these huge wicks either side of action, and it really makes it negative for you to try and actually see some gains and stuff like this. And that's just like, and hence why there's not much going on here, and hence why there's huge wicks up here. So if you try to sell, right, if something has really low liquidity and you're trying to sell out of these pumps up here, you will lose like probably 10 to 20% of your sale profit, right, into slippage because the liquidity isn't high enough. So for me, avoiding something like this, I don't even have to dive into the meme. I avoid something like this. Okay. So I'd also be questioning why all the tokens aren't live yet, unless it's got utility. I'm not 100% sure why it doesn't have that. So definitely check that one out. Are there any others I need to check out? Let me think off the top of my brain. Oh yeah, Nub. This is the other one that I love to trade, guys. So so we trade this up for about a 2x so far. As you can see here, couple different setups. So I'll remove this one first. We saw price. I'll start it from scratch. So this is what I look at. So when I come to check out Nub, which is a very strong meme, has a huge presence on TikTok / Instagram. I come and look at this chart. Okay, what I immediately see is a huge double bottom. Okay, look at that. So easy to see that. Okay, so huge double bottom. This is on a daily time frame, so it will take time to play out. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Greeny, your double bottom hasn't played out yet." I'm like, "Mate, it's on a daily time frame. Be patient." Okay, and as you can see here, we got a massive double bottom. Okay, the way you draw sort of where that support and resistance zone is to break is either maybe at that peak here, but for me, it's usually you want more touches on your trend lines of support and resistance, right? So you've seen price respect that level there. We had a few wicks there as well, up in the mid range, so that's probably not a bad area for you to consider. That's where the sort of line is to break that support and break that resistance and turn it into support. So if we look at that, we obviously broke up, which is great to see. The way you can actually sort of measure two different ways. You can measure your price target for the swing trade. If you're a swing trader and not holding this longer term, two ways you can do this, okay? Draw a vertical line from the top of that support resistance line to the bottom of the range of the double bottom, and then put it over on the side like this, and then that would be your target. So for me, it says about 110 million. It obviously got to 102 million. On a lower time frame, I think I actually had it a little bit lower. Maybe not, but I had my initial target was actually around 91 million, and obviously went to a little bit higher. So if we get this again, let's draw a fib. The other way you can do it is by drawing the fibs, guys. So as you can see here, yeah, 92. So that was my other target, was using fib. So fib from the top of this, support and resistance. Okay, as you can see here, down to the bottom, down to that wick of the bottom, down at 22 mil. That's crazy. You could have got a 5x if you got in there. And then as you can see here, where's your target? Your first target, the 1.618 is at 92 mil. So I have scaled out a nub just to take it as a swing trade, because I'm busy traveling, so I just want to make sure I'm staying close to my thesis. So I've taken my initials out of nub to make sure that I've locked in profit. And as you can see here, it did obviously go above my target. Now is where you start to consider, okay, is the move done, or is this meme strong enough to continue higher? So that's where I then watch this over the next sort of maybe week or so, because it is on a daily chart, to see whether it shows strength to continue higher. Okay, and if it does, then I am more than confident holding the rest of my bag. If it doesn't, I take the rest of it out, and I then watch for the next chart setup to happen. The other chart setup you can obviously draw is obviously this here, guys. So if I do clean up the double bottoms, one of my favorite charts, excuse me, to trade. As you can see here, excuse me, I might need to jump off soon, guys. My voice is starting to go. But as you can see, price reaction obviously respected these levels as support. And then you had that triangle. And as I said before, guys, this is more bearish, but obviously we respected it. It's respected a bit. The meme was strong enough, okay? We saw price increase with volume, okay? So as you can see down the bottom, guys, we saw a massive increase in 3 volume candles across the daily charts. So always zoom out, but then always zoom in to see also what's happening. As you can see here, massive green volume on the 1 hour. It's always good to see multiple time frames confirming your thesis. And as you can see, we've seen a breakout as well. So on this setup as well. So you could trade it both ways, okay? So I much prefer a double bottom. It's much more strength than a double bottom and much easier to get in and out of a double bottom trade. Whereas this can turn over really quickly. Like it could trend like this, not show an increase in volume, and then actually trend down like this, okay? Or it can break straight away from here, and you have to cut straight away to be quite aggressive. So that's how I like to trade these sort of meme coins, guys. Yeah, we touched Blue Sky, we touched on pups. Back before. I'll bring it up again because it is a popular one that people have been talking about as well. And that might be the last one that we do today, guys. You and I, mate, thanks for tuning in, bro. Appreciate you being here always. All right, this might be the last one unless there's any other comments in the chat. We've got over 300 people here, guys, so thanks for tuning in. Love you all. Appreciate you all. Please obviously drop me a follow if you're new here. I drop daily crypto alpha on Twitter. I obviously have my YouTube channel, which has over 180 videos on educational topics around meme coins, charts like this about how I trade meme coins, how I find good meme coins, how I snipe them, how I get in nice and early, the best bots to be using, the best websites to be using, and then obviously general market takes as well around ordinals, around runes, and why I think they are ones to be trading over the coming weeks. But as you can see here, guys, pups show me a lot of strength, as we spoke about before. Blue Sky, for tuning in a little bit later, that's fine, mate. You can see here we've a reversal pattern, so we are still respecting here. So maybe this doesn't come just yet. Maybe we fade back down. We're fighting with the 0.618 retracement at the moment, so we might come back down, get one more touch, bounce off the 0.786. This 25 here, that's a scream for a buy opportunity if you see it, and then we bounce up here in the coming weeks. So patience is key because this is on a 4-hour chart, and I will take you back to MOG, which shows you very similar sort of time period, guys. You have to be patient with some of these trades, okay? And as a lot of people are currently seeing, a lot of the newer meme coins are struggling to make it past sort of that 1 mil, if not a couple of 100,000, because the market just isn't there yet, right? So you just have to be patient. And liquidity is spread. It's spread across NFTs, ordinals, runes, meme coins on several different blockchains, Blast, Base, Solana, even AVAX and stuff still have some meme action. So as you can see here, it took MOG 50 days to break out. So patience, guys. Patience is a virtue in crypto. Remain patient so that you can see profit moving forward. And obviously, guys, if you are keen to maybe jump into some a group that essentially trades this sort of stuff every single day, then please obviously check out my private alpha group. The link is in my Twitter description. It's also down below in the YouTube description as well. It's the WAP link. We've returned a crazy amount of profits. It's probably more than that. I don't want to keep increasing it because it just gives the wrong message, okay? We do have losses, but what we do is we cut weak positions aggressively so that we minimize our losses and then maximize our profits and grow our wealth over time. And that's why the slogan's there, because we have a trading ecosystem in my group of over 250 members that actively support and educate each other to grow wealth together, guys. And that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to pump and dump tokens. I hate that sort of stuff. I never do that sort of stuff. All I ever do is trade tokens that I actually have conviction in or that show me the charts, as you've just seen in this live stream, guys. And trade those tokens up to much higher. We obviously have speciality with other callers. There's 5 other callers in the channel. You can scroll down and check out all of those sort of details as well. There's a few reviews jumping on there from some of the members. So thanks to those guys for dropping some really cool reviews, which is great to see. But here are some of the really cool insights that I have disclosed down the bottom, guys, too. So if you are keen to maybe pay with crypto, send me a DM on Twitter. I'm more than happy to also give you access via crypto payments, but WAP does allow you to pay in USDC if you are someone that has more on-chain money than credit cards. But guys, please reach out. More than happy to obviously let you answer any questions about the group. We've been so consistent. We trade leverage, trade meme coins, we trade runes now. Obviously, we have dedicated channels to all of those particular markets. We obviously have people and callers who have special expertise. We even have Forex at the moment. Shout out to Aussie, who's been dropping some Forex trades in the group as well. So yeah, we're trying to educate. I'm about to do a Fibonacci video just for my group as well. Just kind of similar to what I showed you today, but probably more in depth so that they have access to that information and education as well. So it's more than just a group about alpha. Yes, we have alpha. We have consistent wins, but we also educate and support each other for this bull market, guys. And that's what we're trying to do here in crypto. And that's what I try to do every single day is educate you all and help you guys become better traders at the end of the day. So if you like what I do, guys, please obviously like it here on Twitter and like it on YouTube. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to click the follow button. Don't forget to click the subscribe button on my YouTube. It's Greeny Crypto or Greeny_ETH. As you can see up here is my username. Up over 5,000 subscribers. Super thankful for that. This video is dropping very soon. Bitcoin to 100K. If you want to be a YouTube member, you actually get exclusive access to some of these videos before they go to the public. So you can check that out as well by clicking the join up the top. But as always, really do appreciate you being here. Thanks for tuning in. Please let me know in the DMs if you have any questions. More than happy to always help you out. And obviously check out my private group as well. As always, guys, take care. And